It's race day just across the Mississippi River from downtown St. Louis in view of the world-famous arch, and a bonus qualifying session that was expected to be yesterday, but we'll go racing on Sunday and qualify on Sunday morning for the Bommarito Automotive Group 500 at World Wide Technology Raceway. Thanks for joining us. Kevin Lee, Townsend Bell, James Hinchcliffe, Dylan Welch is on pit lane for two-lap qualifying, just a little bit delayed, getting the track prepared this morning after Silver Crown practice. And here are the conditions. There is still a little bit of a threat of rain today, but we are dry for the moment and expecting a perfect day and some 30 degrees cooler than it was when we arrived on Friday.
Huge tryout for Connor right now, and so far he's made the most of it.
Gotta get this thing spooled up, wound up, a little conservative there in turn one on this warm-up lap. He's gonna be coming to the green here, so you need to be absolutely on it coming out of turn four.
And he is, Dylan. Connor wide open, early, off flag.
And I think it's interesting, too, talking with Ricardo Knoll of Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan. He said, you know, all of our cars, Graham kind of an outlier because of their struggles, but the 30 and the 45 of Newgarden kind of battling the same thing. And he said Connor just kind of drove through it yesterday. So they're trying to get the balance a little bit better, but Connor put the car on his back at some point last night and did what he had to do.
Heck of a first lap, I think. Connor looks really solid through both ends of the track.
White flag.
Boom. 179.5 miles per hour. Quickest so far.
Little bit of push mid-corner of 1 and 2, but he got back to the throttle aggressively. See how much he can float it across the middle here.
No adjustments to his tools, so relatively happy with the balance.
Great.
Committed to the throttle there, Townsend. This
Great
is looking
run.
real strong for lap 2.
All right, checker flag.
How about that?
Whoa.
180.2 for Connor Daly.
Great job there. First
Goes
lap,
to the
25.0.
top with authority.
Fastest lap we've seen of the weekend so far. A 180.0.
The track is good. I just didn't get enough out of it. Well, good job, guys. I think either way, that was a positive change for the race, I think.
Green flag in the air and the two-lap run in the Bommarito Automotive Group colors this weekend for Ferrucci, who qualified 6th and finished 4th here for Dale Coyne Racing as a rookie in
Now,
19.
importantly, you saw the difference in technique. It was a full dump of the throttle,
But
but
no
no brake pressure in turn 1. So allowing the car to roll and do its thing without any input from the brake. Does it pay off? Lap 1 for Ferrucci, 180.3. Thanks for the tip. I got this.
Fastest lap so far. And yeah, right. That technique was everything. Just keeping that rolling minimum speed up. When you're applying brake at those speeds, it bleeds off so quickly. It's hard to maintain that proper.
Whoa,
wiggle.
Ferrucci, big moment. Almost lost it.
Oh, what a disappointment.
Checker flag.
That's a bummer, man. But still a 176
I'm
average.
sorry, buddy. Good try. You were P1 on the first lap.
Oh, he's gonna be so upset about
sorry.
that.
I didn't think I'd lose it.
So he's going to have to start near the back, but there's potential in that race car, so that might lead to some entertainment today. Let's watch this again.
What was Peterson's feedback? A little bit on the loose side. And there it is. Massive on the loose side.
My instincts on the bar. That's my mistake. I'm sorry, boys.
So you may have guessed right. I'll take that under advisement, but I'm going to leave the bar where it's at.
I think he said something about trusting his instincts, and those instincts misled him a little bit. But you got to love the aggression. I love the fact that Santino went no brake in turn 1, felt it out, trusted his butt, tried to send. It's just what racing drivers do, is get up on the wheel and try to squeeze every last bit. And what an excellent bit of car control to keep that Bommarito car out of the fence just hours before the start of this race.
He had a quick lap at Iowa for one of the races this year. Remember, that was 2 laps. First lap, race 1. Second lap, race 2. He qualified 3rd for race 2 and finished 4th on the Oval of Texas this year as he takes the green.
Green flag.
I got to wonder how many teams and drivers might have been watching Peacock and might try the Ferrucci no brake. It doesn't appear that Malukas is going to do that. But that worked pretty well for Santino.
Yeah, I mean, I used to always sit in the line with the IndyCar app up because it's got the telemetry on there and try to get a sense of gear patterns and techniques like that.
Malukas pretty high through turn 4, but the speed looks really good. 180.9 lap 1. Hello.
By far the fastest lap we've seen so far this weekend. And you said it. He's had pace here before. He's just picking up where he left off from last season.
Big time.
That's the fastest lap we've seen this weekend. 1.4 miles per hour faster than the first lap for Connor Daly. What does he have on lap 2?
Almost flat through 3 and 4. This could be a monster lap 2. It is 181.2 for little Dave.
Provisional P1 for David Malukas and Dale Coyne Racing with HMD. Here's the Gainbridge car of Colton Herta, another Andretti car. They have looked solid so far. Started second here a couple of years ago. He's finished as high as 4th at this track.
This is another driver that had a pretty big moment yesterday in practice. Just a massive amount of correction in the steering wheel to keep this Gainbridge car off the wall. Colton Herta comes across 199, the top speed into turn 1.
Dominating this race a few years ago before mechanical issue took him out of play, but he definitely knows his way around this track, loves this place.
Tell you what, that is wide open through turns 3 and 4. I think that's the first driver we've seen go totally flat. Does it pay off? Lap 1, 181.9.
It sure does. He's the first, but he definitely won't be the last. Drivers will be watching that. All the way down to 3rd gear, Townsend. It's the first driver I've seen go down to 3rd and 1 and 2, so a bit of a different gear strategy from the 26.
Watch the throttle. Whiskey Foxtrot Oscar sending it.
Coming to the line. Is it going to be fast enough to go to the top? Lap 2 is just barely better, and Colton Herta is provisionally P1 with no penalty coming.
Car's good. Planning for the bumper steer.
Green flag for Marcus Ericsson in a rebuilt car. This is a new chassis, first time on track. How bold do you want to go?
I think you got to feel it out.
Yeah, the last
Ericsson knows, just like Graham Rahal, this is tough. You're going to need that first lap to get a feel and then try to make some adjustments if they're needed at all, or if the biggest adjustment is just pushing harder.
Yeah, I mean, Graham Rahal had to deal with a different setup. Marcus Ericsson's sitting in a physically different race car. It hasn't seen the racetrack yet this weekend, so much taller order for the driver of the 8. I think you're right, Townsend. You just got to kind of bring it home steady and stable and do your work this afternoon.
178.7 lap 1, lap 2, 179.0 Ericsson.
Something's wrong with the engine.
Something is wrong with the engine. So could we have all 4 Ganassis taking a penalty? The other 3 already are.
Or is that just the kind of boost settings and getting things calibrated?
Could be.
Sometimes, I wonder if they had to go to a different engine, maybe not a new one, but a different engine, or if they were able to keep the same car. It was a forward impact, so maybe it was the same engine, but
if they did, we probably would have learned of a penalty for him.
Right.
And you'd like to have 2.5, 3 hours for that. As Scott McLaughlin, one of the contenders for pole, is on track right now, but will not start on pole. He could still score the points, and he could still be credited with a pole, and his warm-up lap was fast, 179.6 miles per hour.
This is the team to beat here. Hey-o. This is the driver with great momentum at this point in the season. McLaughlin, since the Indy 500, has had an Alex Palou-like run. Worst finish of 8th. He's been consistent. He stayed out of trouble. And on the short ovals, he has been learning and getting ever closer to his teammate Joseph Newgarden on technique.
I call that driver flat in 3 and 4. Not all the way pinned, but close enough. But look at that, 183.3.
For an average of 182.9, Team Penske is in the playground.
He was so committed to the throttle out of turn 2 and then was so close to flat in 3-4. He is one of the drivers taking the penalty, so it's a little bit all for naught. His teammate, Joseph Newgarden, who we'll see now, however, no penalty coming. Fastest car in practice. 3 wins at this track on the trot.
Oh, boy.
4 wins on ovals so far this year.
Now, McLaughlin can still be credited with the pole. Even though the best he can start is 10th, he could still win the NTT P1 award. Is there enough time going back-to-back for Newgarden to learn anything from what McLaughlin did.
There's enough time to learn a little. It's not going to be a lot. McLaughlin knows he's not racing Joseph for pole, so he's going to be as open a book as a teammate can be in that situation. Sometimes you might hold back a little bit of information if you're racing for the pole position against the teammate, but I expect it's an open book. He'll know what tools, adjustments he made.
I can't wait to watch this. Newgarden on board, the hands, willpower, dumping the bar at both ends of the track yesterday in practice. These white-gloved hands did not move from the steering wheel. He did it all with technique.
Big break, down to third gear. What kind of speed can he roll through it? How committed can he be in 3 and 4?
Such a fascinating difference. No adjustments.
Small lift.
That was wide open too, I think, in 3 and 4. Was there a lift?
There was a tiny little crack there.
182.1.
It's quick.
Not as quick as McLaughlin was, though. He's going to have to pick it up considerably, like McLaughlin did, who went 0.8 of a mile per hour faster on lap 2. Newgarden does not have a pole this season.
What a badge of honor if McLaughlin can out-qualify Newgarden. He's trying everything through 3 and 4, but it loosened up big time. He might have held it open, but he was sliding as Newgarden goes second.
Second lap is faster, but not fast enough. McLaughlin still maintains the advantage, and we are down to 2 to go.
And he's pumped. He knows that's a big achievement.
Absolutely, absolutely. Only 2 cars left. I can't see them being quite as quick as the Penske's based on what we saw in practice. It's not over till it's over, but Scott McLaughlin's certainly sitting in a good spot to claim the pole. Even though he won't start there, it's still a point of pride for him in this.
So we know this so far. Joseph Newgarden is going to start on the points. That is determined because McLaughlin has a penalty and Palou has a penalty. But the point for pole is still to be determined, which would go another step because Palou just needs to gain a few points to officially wrap up the championship. He could have that done by later today. And green flag at stake. Scott McLaughlin could win his first oval pole, his 5th career.
A lot of brake in turn 1. Big breathe of the throttle.
Did see 201 miles an hour, though, into turn 1.
That tells you maybe a little bit light on the downforce side. You get the top speed, but you don't get the minimum speed as Palou solidly planted through 3 and 4.
So anxious as
One more lap.
Scott McLaughlin and Ben Bretzman watch on to see a 181.5. It's not going to be enough.
But to your point, look at the consistency for the Ganassi team.
They know it.
It's over. It is over as far as Scott McLaughlin's concerned. But where does Palou end up? He still wants to be as high as he can. He's taking that engine penalty. But the further up you can start, especially at this racetrack, the more it helps.
Checker flag.
Lap 2 slightly better. 2-lap average slots in Alex Palou as the 5th best qualifier. Penalty coming. Scott McLaughlin will start 10th, but he wins a point and the NTT Pole Award. Scott McLaughlin has his first IndyCar pole on an oval, Dylan.
And a well-deserved congratulations to the entire Odyssey Battery team. So we could see the anxious moments here waiting for this, but what is the significance of this? Not only because it's a pole, but you also beat the 2 car.
Yeah, that's a nice feeling. Look, you want to beat your team. I'm so competitive, man, and we all are, and we just want to beat our teammates all the time. So I'm pumped. First oval pole. You know, we're going to engine spot penalty, but we're going to come through and have a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, so at a track that has been deemed hard to pass on, you do start 10th. So what will be the challenge of that with a car that obviously has a lot of speed, but maybe is more difficult to move through?
Oh, no, we'll be okay. I got a great strategy team on the 33s with Benny and Kyle, and yeah, really excited for this Odyssey Battery Chevy to come through. I think it's going to be a lot of exciting passes. I'm going to have to really nail the start and just probably put her on the cush and have a bit of fun.
All right, the confidence is oozing out of Scott McLaughlin. He qualifies on the pole, but will start 10th with that engine penalty.
And he so wants that first oval win. He's going to have some work to do to catch up with Joseph Newgarden, who is trying to sweep the entire season of ovals. And then there's the championship, where Alex Palou just needs to add 4 points to his championship lead on Joseph Newgarden and 7 on Scott Dixon. So finishing ahead of those drivers by a bit is going to wrap it up today. Here is how they qualified, not the starting lineup.
Yeah, big props to Colton Herta there. Excellent qualifying run. Huge courage through 3 and 4 to hold it open. The best of the Honda runners in that number 26 car.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a Penske-dominated track, so that's almost first in class. You go back here, little Dave Malukas, top 10. That's a solid effort from a driver that found himself up on the podium there. Alex Rossi going to be disappointed not to be quite as far up, as close to his teammates.
How about Connor Daly?
Let's say great effort from row 8 all around.
Two young drivers looking for their next opportunity in IndyCar, getting it done against their more experienced teammates. Going down through the list, Graham Rahal had to figure it out on the fly.
I count, by the way, 4 in the top 8 that are going to move back.